So who pays for all of this damage? Well, John Ramos reports people are suddenly asking questions about their flood insurance policy that they never knew they needed.
Across the Bay Area, a lot of places had flooding that aren't used to having flooding. And now people face a rude awakening about who's going to pay for all of this. Much of San Francisco is built on hills, but at the bottom of those hills, Saturday's rainstorm wreaked havoc. Videos on TikTok and Twitter show just how deep the water got in the Mission District around Folsom and 14th Streets.
Within 45 minutes, I would say the water was up to 12 inches on 14th Street here.
Zeki Abed owns Moto House, a motorcycle storage garage. On Saturday, the storm forced its way into the business, and today they were constructing a solid barrier to keep it from happening again. Abed is lucky. The old 1906 building is made of concrete and redwood, so there wasn't a lot to spoil. But he does have a common problem.
I don't think flood insurance is something we have, but it's something that people need to get, obviously, and there's going to be a more frequent occurring incident, so we just need to be aware, I think.
As people dry out from the deluge, many are finding out the hard truth about their insurance coverage. Most standard homeowners policies do not include flood protection.
The homeowner's policy most likely is not going to cover it because that's due to natural disaster, natural causes. So that's when the flood policy kicks in.
Independent farmers agent Eder Barcenas says people need a separate flood rider on their policy to cover water damage from natural forces, a so-called act of God. He says in places that normally have low risk, the premium can be fairly reasonable, as low as $1,000 per year. But without it, property owners are on their own to cover repairs.
Say about 80% of people don't know exactly what they have within their policy.
Outside of Rentaro Restaurant on 14th Street, owner Sylvan Mishima Brackett was also building a barrier. Inside, they ended up with several feet of water in their courtyard and dining areas. But unlike a lot of recent flood victims, he also has a glimmer of hope.
We don't have flood insurance, but we do have insurance for storm drains and sewage backup. So the question is whether or not the insurance company is going to say this is because the storm drains couldn't handle it, or if this is a flood. And I'm hoping they're going to understand that it's because the drains aren't big enough.
Everyone says the storm drains are the problem here. Some think they're too small, others say they clog too easily. And with another storm on the horizon, the amount of debris just waiting to block them again isn't giving anyone on 14th Street much optimism.
Now, the restaurant owner says they had another flooding event back in 2014, but after a 9-month struggle, the city of San Francisco eventually sent them a hefty check accepting responsibility for the performance of the storm drains.